this is Rick and welcome to our channel King Sacrifice. So today in this video we are going to focus on some interesting topic, that is GIUOCO piano and some traps occurring in it and which you may face in your upcoming matches. So without wasting any more time, let's start our video. The first move played by white is e4. Black continues with e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop comes to c4, bishop to c5. Now white plays knight to c4, knight to f6, d3, castles, some simple gameplay, bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen, h6, and white plays h4. After capturing the bishop, h captures on g5, attacking the knight. Now here black knight jumps to g4, attacking the f2 pawn with the bishop and the knight. And on the another move, black is going to take the f2 pawn with the knight in order to attack queen and the rook at the same time. But now white here is going to play g6, after which black captures on the f2. And now white plays a really fantastic move, that is knight captures on e5 and also opening the way of the queen. And now you notice whenever black tries to take the queen here, then you get checkmated after pawn captures on f7, rook captures on f7, bishop captures on f7 check, king to f8, rook h8, king to e7, knight to d5 check, king to d6, and knight to c4, giving a checkmate. So also when the black will try to capture the rook on h1, then the queen can come to the h5, after which there is a force mate on the h7 square, so the rook moves to e8, after which the pawn captures on f7, giving a check, king to f8, and knight to g6, also giving a checkmate. And even after black captures on e5, then it will be over after queen to h5, giving a forced checkmate threat. So that was the first line. And let's see if instead of here castles, if what happens if black plays the move d6, then white plays again bishop to g5, castles, knight to d5, king to h8, bishop captures on f6, g captures on f6, queen to d2. White is planning to move the queen to the h6 square and to give some threats to black king. So here black plays f5, queen to h6, f6, stopping white from playing knight to f6. So black plays f6 after. Here white plays knight to h4, threatening to play knight to g6. So black refuse it by playing rook to f7. So again here white plays knight to g6, giving a check, forcing the black king to come out of the h8 square. So king moves to g8, and again after knight captures on f6, white forces black to capture the knight with the queen, and now comes a really amazing checkmate from f8. Knowing that the rook cannot take the queen because of the pin the bishop is giving to the king. So let's see another move, that is what happens if instead of here knight c3, what happens if white plays the move c3. So now black continues with d6, d4, bishop to b6, and d captures on e5. And in this variation, black is gonna lose a pawn after knight captures on e5, knight captures on e5, d captures on e5, bishop captures on f7, giving a check, knowing that taking on the f7 with the king would be a mistake because of queen captures on d8. So that is why the king moves to e7 and then queen captures on d8, king captures on d8. And here white gains a pawn and leaving the e5 pawn isolated. And also, if here instead of knight captures on e5, if the pawn captures on the e5, then first queen captures on d8, then king captures on d8 and capturing the f7 pawn. And again white is a pawn ahead. So let's see another move, that is after here c3 d6 d4. If instead of bishop to b6, what happens if black takes the d4 pawn, then c captures on d4, bishop to b4 check, king to f1, and moving the knight here to f6 would be a mistake from black because d5, kicking the knight off, and wherever it moves, for suppose e7, then queen to a4 giving a check and gaining the bishop on the another move. So that was another variation. Let's see what happens if here after c3 instead of d6, what happens if black plays knight to f6. So here again white's gonna play d4, e captures on d4, c captures on d4, bishop to b6. Now here comes knight to g5, castles, e5, knight to e8. So the f6 knight has just moved to e8, leaving the h5 and the h7 square unprotected. So now the white queen can jump over the h5 square. And now here black continues with h6, knight captures on f7. And now here queen to e7, and then knight captures on h6 giving a double check. So king to h8, knight to f7 again giving a double check. So king to g8 and queen to h8 would be a mate. If here after capturing on the f7 pawn instead of queen to e7, if rook captures on f7, then also it will end up mating black after queen to f7, king to h7, bishop to d3 check, king to h8 and queen to f8 giving a checkmate. So this was all about today's video, and if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. So thank you for watching and see you on the next video.